Hey guys, welcome back to Crypto Clan. Today we'll be talking about breaking news of Quant set to implement annual licensing fees for the utility of Quant's overledger innovation. On the 10th of December, the official Quant Twitter page tweeted details in regards to the introduction of overledger licensing fees, which will be applicable to all customers and developers. The licensing fees will be payable in QNT. The introduction of licensing fees is primarily geared to an annual overledger license fee of £100. The licensing fee is primarily geared towards overledger developers. This licensing fee strategy will give individual developers access to a number of Quant's offerings, namely the capability of leveraging Quant's multi-chain applications or MAPs. Multi-DLT dApps or MAPs are a variant of decentralized apps. However, through Quant Network's ability to provide universal interoperability, characteristics associated with blockchains plugged into overledger at a given time can be implemented into MAPs. This factor will enable desired characteristics of blockchains to be selected and implemented into MAPs. For example, overledger can implement the high transaction rate associated with the Solana blockchain to handle transactions and use the security of the Bitcoin blockchain to settle payments in their MAP. This is in contrast to traditional decentralized apps, whereby the characteristics of dApps are directly associated with the blockchain the app is built on. As mentioned by the Quant team, the utility of Quant's offerings by overledger developers at the £100 price level will be converted to QNT upon the purchase of the respective license. The QNT used to purchase the annual licensing fee will be locked in the Quant treasury for 12 months. This factor will lead to the depreciation of the circulating supply of QNT tokens. In return, developers will have access to Quant Network. After the expiration of the annual licensing fees, developers will have to renew the license to have access to the network. This will lead to QNT tokens being locked up for a further 12 months. The locking and release of QNT tokens upon the expiration and renewal of licensing fees will lead to the creation of a yearly demand for QNT tokens. The introduction of the £100 licensing fee for the utility of Quant's innovations, namely overledger for individual developers, are the first steps in the overarching rollout of pricing for usage of Quant's offerings. Enterprise utility of Quant's innovations will follow different pricing schemes compared to the likes of individual developers, which will almost certainly be significantly greater. An example of a globally renowned body which is looking to utilize Quant's offerings is the IMF. The International Monetary Fund or IMF will directly leverage Quant's multi-ledger token offering for use with CBDCs, which are sent to and from and operate on many distinct blockchain and legacy-based platforms. Multi-ledger tokens have the potential to be utilized for numerous blockchain and financial uses, which will continue to expand as the utility of the technology grows and new business models emerge. With the IMF looking to leverage Quant's MLT offerings, which will likely correspond to the verification and validation of numerous actions associated with cross-border CBDC transactions, Quant will likely demand hefty fees for its utilization. The IMF's direct utility of MLT in view of CBDC developments could be huge for Quant and may be indicative of Quant's innovations, namely its multi-ledger token stablecoin and overledger being directly incorporated into CBDC developments across the world. The utility of MLT stablecoins in CBDC payment infrastructure will potentially lead to the development of a universal payment channel or UPC, which is a concept coined by the payment processor giant Visa. Quant CEO Gilbert Verdian reaffirmed how the utilization of Quant's offering by large enterprises, namely banks, will have to pay for usage of Quant's technology, including MLT.
He asks, does this mean a central bank that will use the overledger will pay in QNT? Is it a joke?
That's a good question. So thank you for the question, Alexei. So what we're doing is providing the rails, the network infrastructure to be able to transact. If the application running on the overledger network is a CBDC, then it has the same rules as the network. You have to pay the transaction fees in QNT, the license fees to be able to do that. It really depends if they use it. So I would love to see central banks using the overledger network. It'll be a great testament to the technology, and there's a lot of interest in this space. And what we'd love to bring is interoperable payments around the world onto the overledger network, so you can transact cross borders without having the limitations of the existing system. So if that's the case, we'd love to have that on there.
With Quant working with a number of world-renowned organizations and with a fintech company working with individual developers, Quant could see its platform becoming a hotspot for enterprise and developer innovations. the attractive characteristics associated with Quant network, which will lead to increases in the utilization of the platform, and in turn, synonymous increases will be observed in the purchasing of QNT tokens. These factors will lead to invariable increases in the demand for QNT, and in turn, QNT token prices will increase in value. What are your thoughts on Quant? Will Quant's pricing scheme lead to QNT price changes? Let us know your views in the comments below. Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell. Let us know your views in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.